Welcome to Good Morning Football. Boo, New York City. What is this?
What are you talking about? It's the beautiful time to live here.
Oh, we were talking Zeke Elliott, Cowboys, and more. Right here, right now. Welcome to Good Morning Football. We're presented by Payday.
Sound like a real New Yorker there, Kay.
I mean,
that's you're fully home. You're fully home. You're one of us now.
No thanks. You once sold us all, these two gentlemen on moving here based on like 3 beautiful days in this place.
There are 3 days every summer in New York where you just have the perfect weather, the perfect action on the streets, and you say, this is why we live here. Today is not that day.
Aren't those 3 days? Doesn't it smell like a latrine, though, in the city?
You have the air-conditioned water falling on your face. Like, is it raining? No, that's just an air conditioner. Welcome
we hope.
to New York City. This is the lead block.
The lead block.
I want
the program.
Get to Zeke Elliott in a moment, but to start, let's not focus on the one player who isn't there. Let's focus on the guys who are with an update on position battles from Cowboys camp. Here's Jane Slater.
Thanks, Kay. Training camp wrapped here in Frisco on Tuesday, which means the players on this roster have one more chance to impress the coaching staff, which will come on Thursday in their final preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, as we look to this roster, there's 2 position battles to keep an eye on. I'm told the wide receivers group could carry as many as 6. We know Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and Randall Cobb are making this roster, and I'm told Tavon Austin will likely make it too, which means that final spot will likely come down to guys like Noah Brown, Cedric Wilson, as well as Devin Smith. Now, Noah Brown is currently on PUP, and if he doesn't come off of it, that means they could potentially carry all 3 of them. As for the defensive line, I'm told they could carry as many as 10, but a guy to keep an eye on is former first-rounder Taco Charlton. Consistency has been an issue here in Dallas, but he certainly showed up against the Texans in their dress rehearsal. Now, the question's going to be, was that enough to keep him a spot on this roster? Okay?
Thank you so much, Jane. Kyle, you're going to love this.
What do you got?
Take a look at the first 5 games of the Cowboys regular season. Giants, Redskins, and Dolphins right off the bat. The Cowboys are tied for, get this, the 4th easiest first 3 games of the season.
Good.
Based on 2018 opponent win percentages. Now, yesterday, we had a question. I asked if Zeke's only play was to sit out, hope the team struggles, picks up some L's along the way, and then they realize how much they need him, and then they pay him. But looking at a relatively easy schedule, as we just saw, do you think that plan could backfire, Peter? Let's say the Cowboys are 3-0. Without Zeke, what card does he have left to play?
It doesn't bode well for Zeke, and I don't think Zeke has many cards at all to play right now. Quite honestly, we're a week away from the season, and the more we get closer to the season, the more I think it's in Zeke's best interest to work with the Cowboys to get a deal here. I do think that there is a way that there could be a happy medium and both sides are happy. I don't see him ever making that Todd Gurley money with 2 years left on his contract. I don't think the Cowboys, with what they have to do and all this talk about pie and all this talk about you don't need to have a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl.
Zeke who?
I can see him getting north of Le'Veon Bell, and I said this yesterday, north of Bell, which is about 14, and south of Gurley, which is 16. So if he's offered that, which I don't know if the Cowboys have or not, I think he needs to run out of Cabo, out of whatever he's doing there, and run to an airport and get to Cowboys camp. But I think both sides are in their best interest to get this done. They could very easily go 3-0 without him. I don't think he wants to face that situation.
Is this the longest Cabo stint of all time? Who's
for any human
Cobb
ever?
Forever.
Ever.
Anyone across the board.
That's crazy.
Even the greatest honeymoon ever wasn't 2, 3, 4 weeks.
You're right.
You know, it's funny because I was sitting back when this all started, and I thought to myself, is Zeke bold enough to pull Le'Veon Bell? I know 2 different situations, but Le'Veon Bell set the precedent for individuals that really want to stick to their guns, lay back, and put the pressure on the organization. Now, it's a little bit different because the Steelers had James Conner, and he started to play very well. And Le'Veon sat back and said, listen, just trade me. Just get me out of here. I don't want to be here. You guys don't respect me as much as I feel like I need to be, so I'm going to end up on another team. He got his wishes. Zeke is in such a unique situation that I don't think this is going to happen. And on top of that, I know we kind of joke about not training, staying in shape, simulating training camp or even preseason or regular season mode if he misses regular season. How can you do that for a year or so? How can you do that for 2 years or so? When you're still under contract, and I feel like Jerry Jones is a true businessman in every sense of the word, if Zeke wants out, he's going to sit back, look at Zeke, look at his agent, and say, no. You're under contract, so I'm going to hold on to you as much as I can. And if you don't bend, then we're definitely not going to bend. So that's why I feel like the Cowboys have all the leverage right now.
Kay and I were at an event last night in New York, sort of an event to promote the NFL 100, and we were with Saquon. And one of the things Saquon said on stage is like, look, if Zeke wants to go ahead and miss week 1, that's fine with me. Yeah. Go ahead. We'll take him. Exactly. That's our win. We're talking Zeke. We're going to talk a little more Jadeveon. Let's just check in on what we call the missing 4. Guys, come over here with me.
Yes.
We've been keeping a shrine for all the star players who are not showing up. It's been very quiet. It's almost asleep. It kind of reminds me of Nate Burleson in the production meeting. But here's the thing. We used to have 6 of them. It was Mike Thomas from the Saints, and it was Yannick Ngakoue from the Jaguars. We've lit these candles here, and this is what we want to do. With Yannick, when he finally showed up, begrudgingly or not, you blow out the candle. Very simply. You hold it up, you blow it out. It's magic. Yannick, welcome back to football. We want to blow out the candles for the 4 of these guys, but guys, frankly, the wicks are getting a little short here. We're running out of oil. Quick check-in on all 4 of these. Trent, Mr. Silence. Still nothing on social media. His coach Jay Gruden has serious doubts about a trade. Rap Sheet says he is healthy and ready to play. Zeke. Jason Garrett is breaking the cliche meter right now. Right now, we're going with the guys we have. We're going to focus on the guys who are here. Obviously, he had some things to say in a Maxim article. I think Ariane Celeste was on the cover. You should check it out. And the 10 things that Tara Reid has in her travel bag. Next. Melvin Gordon, always a lot to say. Melvin retweeted Kay Adams' fantasy running back rankings on Monday. He was not in the top 12, retweeted him. Has a lot to say about Oakley. He loves it. Still no sign of him. And then lastly, guys, Jadeveon Clowney. He fired his agent, met with Brian Flores of the Dolphins, of course, and Aaron Wilson of the Houston Chronicle says that he prefers the Seahawks and the Eagles. We'll see. I know we have more on Jadeveon. In the meantime, we want to blow out these candles, but they will not let us. I'm going back over to La Mesa right now.
Thank you for the update. I can't believe it's like the same update every day. It's Groundhog
for weeks now.
4, and we are 8 days away from kickoff. You mentioned Jadeveon Clowney. Our very own Tom Pelissero tweeted, unhappy with the state of talks about his future. Jadeveon Clowney recently fired his longtime agent, Bus Cook. Sources tell me and Mike Garafolo. Clowney was originally expected to report to the Texans this week, but has yet to sign his franchise tender. Then, our NFL Network insider, Ian Rappaport, tweeted, Clowney has met in person with the Dolphins coach Brian Flores and other members of the organization's brass. Sources say there's been speculation that Miami is a possible landing spot. Schrags, anything to add here?
Yeah, he's on the franchise tag, and he hasn't signed that tag, so no matter who trades for him only gets him for the rental of the season. You can't sign a long-term deal with him. You're impossible to even talk extension. He goes and hits the market at free agency anyway, and he's $16 million. And oh yeah, if the Texans really wanted him to sign him to a long-term deal, they would have. Pass rushers are at a premium. They didn't. So if they didn't want him, do I want someone else's guy who you don't? I mean, this is a tough trade to make for a 1-year rental. It better be a team that's right on the brink of a playoff contention, because otherwise, the Dolphins, like, I guess, but what?
Hell of a talented player, though, right?
Yeah.
You're on the brink?
Yeah.
So for clarification for people at home, when people sit out, there's an end goal for the player, right? That big long-term deal. You're saying no matter what happens, whether he shows up as a Houston Texan as for right now or he's traded somewhere else, he's going to be in the same situation.
He's making the same money.
The situation that he didn't want to be in.
What? He cannot make $1 more, and that team has no ability to re-sign him. So it's like, it's truly going to the video store and renting something and saying, got to give it back.
Video store reference.
Yeah, video store.
I like the room with the curtain.
Yeah.
Much more Good Morning Football on the way. There's one thing that people want more than chicken sandwiches.
Is there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sleepers. People love fantasy sleepers, and I've got one for you. We've got info on Cam as well. Ron Rivera has a strong opinion on his quarterback's availability for week 1.